Okay, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to load the ink into the 1380S DTF printer. So these are our inks here. It takes Supreme DTF ink. And the things that you're going to need, or that I use, are paper towel, some green tape, and an X-Acto blade to actually open up each bottle. So each bottle is sealed. You're going to need an X-Acto blade to cut that open, and I'll show you that when I open the white. All these ones are pre-opened, so we're going to do the color first, and then I'll fill the white afterwards. Just want to show you guys the close valves to close the ink lines. So so these are closed right now, and if you turn it so that it's straight up and down with the hose, then that means it's open. As soon as you turn it sideways, that means that it's closed. So I'm going to open all of these up, and that's for maintenance purposes, to change your filters or anything, and you need to turn this off for any reason. So we're going to open all these up because we're filling ink now, and we are ready to put the ink through the machine. We'll straighten all those out nice and straight, and now ink will flow through the system. Okay, so the first thing is grabbing the paper towel. I'll take two pieces, I'll fold one over as I'm pulling it out, and then I'll pull on it. And then what I like to do is I'll do two of these, and I'll put them here, so if I spill anything, it doesn't spill onto the printer itself. And I push a little bit in here, so if some spills down the front, it spills onto this and not down into underneath here in the printer. So what we do is take a piece of paper towel, take a piece of tape. Do not go longer or exceed the length of the paper towel. Doesn't need to be that long. Then I just kind of put a piece on it. I put it up to this, and now I'm going to put these right against the actually. Okay, then once you get your tape on, then you're just going to throw it over here. Make sure that you're right over. I'll show you guys in a sec. Let the tape exceed a little bit past it so you can fold it over. I'm going to show you guys that now. So I just kind of fold it down and over like that. Now if anything spills here, it'll just spill onto this. Okay, so I'm going to get both sides here, straight across. Might need three even. I mean, if you guys got creative, you do it in two. You don't even have to put it at all if you don't want. This is kind of extra. It's extra for me especially because this is a new printer and I don't want to get ink anywhere on the printer. So I kind of go overboard everywhere on the printer. So I'm going to do 3 of these here. And that way straight across and over here is covered. So now if anything spills here for some reason, it's just going to fall onto here and collect here before it actually drips down and falls anywhere on the floor or anywhere. Okay, so I set it up in my ink order. So I have cyan, magenta, light cyan, light magenta, yellow, and black, and then of course white. So I put that in the order of the ink. I put my ink bottles in that order as well. So cyan first, I'm going to pick up my cyan and fill it. And so on and so forth. Okay, so let's get the filling. We're going to start with cyan. Take the cap off. And you can also, if you want to go extreme, I'm just going to show you this. You can do this. You can fold up a paper towel, kind of fold it around the rim, the thread of the container where the thread of the cap, where the cap goes on. So you can kind of wrap it around that and just hold it under it. Don't hold it over it so that any debris gets in there from your paper towel. You want to kind of hold it just under it. And if you do spill anything here, it'll get on here first and then of course onto here. So this is going extreme, of course. So we'll take the cap off that. And now I'll pour my cyan in. Be nice and careful. Once you get that flow, that steady flow, just continue with it. Don't try to go up any higher or faster. See what happens on me talking there. So I got a little bit on the rim, that's okay. Now I can show you what to do. If you get any around the rim, you want to make sure that you do wipe it off. You don't want it to dry when you put the cap back on. And then you'll have dry ink all in your cap head and stuff, and that could potentially over time get into your ink through the line, and then of course that's going to create a huge clog in your printer head. So to prevent that, of course, you really want to keep things clean, and if there's anywhere that ink can dry and create a problem, you want to make sure that you dry that off and wipe it up clean. Make sure the inside of the cap's clean. Over time, inside there gets dirty. And then, of course, put your cap back on. If you're not printing tight, if you're printing, you loosen it. And we'll go through that over morning and night maintenance. That's over the morning and night maintenance. But so I'm just going to tighten these for now. And then we'll move on to magenta. Magenta. White cyan. These bottles, it gets a little splashy when you're doing it, so I like to just cup it right over it. And I know that these here, so these containers hold 500 milliliters perfectly. So if it's completely empty, of course, you can do that. And if not, just kind of watch it. And as it gets closer, just kind of go like that with it, and it shouldn't splash as much. Again, any messes that you make, always just take paper towel, wipe it up, again, so the ink doesn't dry and create problems later. That one. I have a small garbage here if you're wondering where I'm throwing all this. It's just an old shipping box. Just kind of use it, throw it in, and I just dump that into the garbage after. Light magenta next. in. So with the longer bottles, I kind of bring it over first before I do the pour so that it's going in, and kind of be quick. Like, don't be super quick, but like, you know, just be confident, go up, and then just start filling. And again, if you already have some in there and it's filling, just kind of bend down like this, like slow, and then it'll start to pour really slowly out like that. But again, I'm just putting the whole bottle in and tap it like that at the end. Again, don't just bring it over, hold it up first, make sure all the drips are gone, and then pull away. And as you're pulling away, you're putting the bottle upwards, of course, so you're not spilling it everywhere if there's any drips or anything like that. So that's done. Yellow next. I'll put the bottle in a firm position and hold it steady while I uncap and hold it up here, and for some reason I'm going to be splashing it everywhere. This is our yellow. Again, I hold it up and over so it drips into the container, and then I pull it upwards so it drips in the container, and then I pull back like that. Kind of a drip-free process. You take your time. Get into the black. Yeah, nice and easy. Line it up. And then just be confident in your pour, not too fast, not too slow. You'll get used to it after your first few pours. And then again, just nice and slow. Slow and steady wins the race, keeps it mess free. And again, we really got to worry about dry ink around the bottles and containers when they're open. So again, I'm just holding it up, letting it drip inside, and then as I'm pulling up, I'm just okay. So now we have all our color loaded, and we're ready to prime. So that's what we're going to go do now is prime. So that's all the color loaded. These can go in the garbage. All we have left to load now is our white. Okay, so now it's time to move on to the white. So if it hasn't been, you got to give it a good shake. Even if it's been through the roller, just give it a little bit. You don't have to go vigorous. If it's been in your shaker in the machine just spinning, then you just give it a quick shake and then put it in. Especially if it's been spinning a while until your next one. So if you exchange bottles if you have a shaker attached to your printer like this one does, it's just going to sit there and spin until your next bottle. So then when you're ready to do the next bottle, you're going to take that out and put the next one in until your next time. So in this case, I haven't had it in the machine, so I've got to give it a really good shake and get it all agitated. And then after we give it a good shake, we're going to pour it into the container, of course. After you shake it, or once you've taken it out of the stirrer, you're going to take a little bit of paper towel, little piece of paper towel, fold it up. As I open the ink bottles, let me get in on this. Excuse me. So as I open the ink bottles, I use a piece of paper towel. I'll go to where I'm going to puncture it down, and then I kind of hold up the paper towel so that if there's any squirting or anything, it squirts up onto the paper towel like that, and it doesn't make a mess all over the bottle. And then once you create that hole, of course, if you have a good knife, this one's crap, just continue to cut around it, open it right up. And once it's opened up, I use the knife and I push up, and I kind of collect it up like that. I'll close the one side, I'll wipe my knife off, or my blade. And then I just wipe anything around the sides. You don't have to wipe into it. You don't want to wipe into it with the paper towel and get anything in your ink. So you don't want to contaminate your ink. And now we're ready to pour that in. So we're going to undo the tank to be able to put it in. In this case, I have unplugged the stirrer, so I'm going to plug that back in so it can start stirring now. So get that plugged back in, or yours will probably be plugged in, so you don't have to do that. Just make sure it goes in nice and straight. Now I've got that in. And then I turn this on, so it's going to make noise, and then I fill it up to make sure that my ink indicators work and everything. So I leave it on. I'll pour my ink in, and that should go off when it reaches an adequate level. Okay? When that goes off, it's just indicating you're going to need more ink pretty soon. And don't let it run out. Now this is 1 liter. I should have a little bit left over. Tap it. No mess. Of course, you're going to have some white left over. Put the cap on nice and tight, air free, and save it for later. Put the cap back on. And now you're ready. Now this is the first time, so I've got to actually turn the machine on and circulate it through, but that's essentially how you change your white.